Patch 2.8 is just right around the corner, probably less than a day by the point I post this video, but you know what? Hoyoverse just decided to shoot themselves in the foot again by straight up announcing new Dendro characters. Nah, I'm joking, I'm sure they know what they're doing, but either way, I'm sure they won't deny the fact that many of us are so excited to pull Kazuha. However, since there are a lot of new things that are coming to the game soon, there are quite a few crucial notes that you want to remember before going ahead and pull for the character in this patch, which is why we have today's video discussing about the top 5 major considerations before pulling Kazuha to help you make the best decision. And with that, let's just jump into the video. First thing to consider is of course Sumeru and Dendro characters. As you might have probably known, Sumeru is coming right after 2.8. Along that, we already know Tighnari, Collei and Dori as the newest release of Sumeru characters. So skip or no skip Tighnari, who is a 5-star character, you're most likely going to be saving your Primo Gems for our 2 lovely 4-star character. We don't know exactly their skill set yet, however we do know Tighnari and Collei is going to be Dendro character who would definitely be someone you want to have in your team because of the new elemental reactions. Dendro reaction will most likely be the new meta once Sumeru arrives, with quite a lot of changes to different elements reacting with Dendro. And so even though things might be easier for those who can spend Primo Gems in the game, free-to-play players may have to think a bit about managing their Primos, which I would say it would be quite enough to save you a couple of pool till Dendro character comes, but as for guaranteed 5-star character, it might not. Not to mention the rumor returns of Ganyu and Zhongli in the second half of patch 3.0. Okay, we all know Kazuha is an amazing character, famous for his insane support capabilities. All of the community have been praising him for all of the good thing he has, which of course Kazuha have almost no downside. However, there are a few things to note before pulling for him. First is that you have to remember to use him correctly. Kazuha's main buff is supporting elemental damage, not elemental mastery. Therefore, his team usage is going to be important. Since he buffs elemental damage, he mainly fits into team which deals a lot of elemental damage, and obviously not going to be physical team as they can never go with Kazuha, but he will also not fit well in elemental reaction teams, like teams that deals a lot of vaporize, melt or even overload damage, because those team focuses on EM, which is where character like Sucrose fit in. Therefore, you need to see if Kazuha will actually fit in your current teams if you're someone who are using a lot of reaction damage. Next is that even if you really love Kazuha and want to run him as a DPS character, generally he will lack the skill set to be so, because unless you get him to C6, most of the time he will only be able to go from skill to burst and then back to skill, and then you have to switch to other character because his normal attack aren't really good. So you can't really have him while on field unless you have other off-field damage support character like Yelan and Fischl, which then makes his playstyle shine best only to quick swap team most of the time, where you can quickly swap to him for further increased elemental attack. Final one, which is also one of the biggest ones as well, is that if you have a C6 Sucrose, then you do want to consider if you really need Kazuha on your team or just save for future Sumeru characters. Remember being that Sucrose usually already give your team an amazing number of EM for reaction damage, which is easily done as most of the team will deal some kind of reaction damage regardless of you focus on it or not. But what's amazing about C6 Sucrose is that she gives your team a 20% elemental damage to the infused element during burst, which is a part of Kazuha's support capability already. Of course, there's a bit of a limitation because you do want Sucrose burst uptime to be on more. However, if you're someone who's lacking in Primo Gems and love the Sumeru characters that are coming also, I believe it's worth a point of consideration, because as you stick to the game, your chance of getting a C6 Sucrose is pretty high. Next, we'll look into Kazuha's 4-star roster to see see how good they are actually. As we've known, there will be Hazel, which is our newly released character of the patch, and then there's Thoma and Ningguang. Now if you follow my prediction, we've already predicted Xingqiu instead of Thoma last time, but now that he's here, it's actually a weird time for him to be so. Now I wouldn't say Thoma is a bad character here because he can work well with Kazuha to provide pyro infusion supports, and that is fine. Plus Thoma constellation is pretty good also, which helps you get some chance of building his constellation. However, Thoma as a character himself isn't performing too well, and we don't always see him in meta teams because of course there's Xiangling already. So Thoma many of the time is taken to be the last resort character to use if you're missing on pyro characters. Either way, he isn't too bad if you do want to get some constellation on your account. As for Ningguang, she is in a weird place because her, Kazuha or Hazel basically provide no synergy whatsoever. I know on top of going for Kazuha, most of us are also going for Hazel. Having Ningguang on the team here is really not good. So the only good thing about having her at this time is for you to build her constellation, and since she is a pure DPS character, it will be player preferences most of the time. So 4-star character on this banner is okay. The shining star here is going to be Hazel, so I do wish you good luck on getting him early if you're not trying to get other characters. As for weapon banners, I would say that this is actually a pretty good one because on top of the Freedom Sworn being one of the best support weapon in the game right now, which fit Kazuha really well, the Lost Prayer isn't that bad at this time because it will fit perfectly for Hazel since he is going to be a DPS character many of the time due to how his skills are built. So if you do lose to a Lost Prayer, I'm sure you would already have Hazel waiting for that. However, 5-star weapon aren't the only thing that's good here. The 4-star weapons are pretty good also. There's Official Main Bow, and since you'll be getting her for free in patch 2.8, it will be pretty usable. There's the Favonius Lance, which everyone would really need at least 1 R5 copies of it, and the remaining weapon we will find its usage as you hold them in your inventory. So if you're thinking about going for weapon banner, there's going to be a pretty decent one. Lastly, remember that this is a game, and in other words, you've got to enjoy the game and especially the character you want to go for. I've seen many stress out about whether or not they should go for Kazuha because the whole community is mostly going for him. Since Sumeru is actually right after that, there are going to be a lot of fun characters. So if you're feeling like you don't need Kazuha because you've already got a good character like Sucrose and want to save for a future character in the patch, you can just do so because your decision yourself on which character you love to play is going to be the most important thing. Having fun in the game is what will keep you stick with Genshin Impact for a long time, because remember guys, we do have another 4 regions to go through. So then I hope that what we've gone through in this video have helped you to make a better decision. If you do have any question, do comment down below and I will get to you there. If you're someone who loves Kazuha, then you might be interested in my video where I discuss about the potential nerf of Kazuha in the future Sumeru update. I'm sure it will be a very fun one for you. If you're new to the channel guys, be sure to subscribe because I usually make guides video especially for free-to-play players, helping you make the best decision when playing Genshin Impact. And with that, I wish you a super day and I will catch you on the next video.